So welcome to Local Where 2. I'm Lorraine, and today I'm thrilled to be joined by Turan Mizra from Feel Good Today. Turan is a highly skilled hypnotist who has helped countless people overcome challenges, unlock their potential, and achieve a better quality of life. With over 27 years of experience in the software industry, Turan brings a unique perspective to his work, combining analytical thinking with the transformative power of hypnosis. In today's conversation, we'll explore the various ways Turan helps people, from breaking habits to reducing stress and anxiety, and even working with businesses to improve employee well-being. Plus, we'll touch on his fascinating journey from software to hypnosis and find out how his techniques can benefit anyone looking to make a positive changes in their life. Turan, it's a pleasure to have you with us today.
Glad to be here. Thanks very much.
Right, first I need to go start at the top, from software to hypnosis. Like, how did that happen?
How does that happen? Well, it happens because I was curious. I actually have 4 children now. They're all grown up now, but in the early days, and I probably should have had a coin at this stage, but I used to go, oh, where'd that coin come from? It came from your ear. Wasn't that fun? What I call silly dad magic. And I just did it for the kids. I wouldn't have done that in front of an adult or anything like that. They just go, you palm that. But I was watching someone on TV and I said, oh, I'm going to do that trick on the kids next. So I did a bit of research, and we're talking back in 2010, before the internet and YouTube and all the rest of it was as good as it is today. And I figured out, oh, this is actually hypnosis. It's not magic. So I just got dragged into it, and I went on a 2-day training course, just the basics and understanding of hypnosis. And to practice it, I thought, well, I always say this, if you're learning to juggle, when nobody's in the kitchen, you can grab 2 oranges and an apple and just practice. If you drop them, hopefully nobody notices the bruise in the apple, and you put them back in the fruit bowl and carry on your way. But for hypnosis, you need people. So I realized, if I'm going to practice this, I need to go somewhere where there's people. And I went out in the streets of Belfast, and I just said, hey, would you like to see some fun entertainment? I'm going to hypnotize you today. Would you like that? Some people said no, walked on their way. That's fine. Some people said, yeah. And I hypnotized them, and it worked. And I just continued along that merry journey. And I started a YouTube channel, which is now like 1.4 million views on YouTube. And so you'll see me progress through my journey just doing street hypnosis. But sooner or later, people came up to me. I would hypnotize someone and maybe make them forget their name. And somebody came up to me and says, hey, you just made him forget his name. Can you make me forget I smoke? Now, I had no formal therapeutic training at that stage. I thought, well, I'll give it a go. I've done about 60 people and hypnotized them, made them forget the name, or make them feel like their feet are stuck to the floor when there was no actual glue involved. And well, the rest is history. I stopped the guy smoking. And then people came up and said, I'm not sleeping very well. That stuff you did there, would it help me sleep better? And I said, I'll give it a go. And it worked. And the rest, like I say, sooner or later, by 2016, I was, as you said beautifully there, 27 years. I was a software engineer, became a software manager, and I was a director of engineering. So I was now managing teams, software engineers, electronics engineers, and mechanical engineers, developing, technological products. And I thought, I'm enjoying this hypnosis stuff. There was a slight mixture off at 2016. There was a bit of a downturn in the oil and gas sector where I was. If you remember, the oil prices took a dip, and so we were looking to cut some staff. But I thought, I'm out of here. I'll save somebody else if I go, and I have something I'm enjoying doing. So since 2016, I've been doing this full time. I've obviously went back and done further trainings and continuing to train, continuing to go to conventions and conferences, not just to speak there, but to attend and learn other things.
Did you find, with the hypnosis and understanding how the mind works, did you find that helped you in the corporate world as such?
I mean, it helps in every facet of my life. Dare I said, I feel it helps you understand language. I mean, hypnosis is not some power. It's not like beams coming out of my eyes or magnetic fields coming out of my hands. It's just simply language and communications, and getting people to communicate at a deeper level with themselves. So whether it's corporate life, whether it's being a better parent, being a better friend, being a better, communications person in general, it helps everywhere.
And then you mentioned that you were doing a lot of street hypnosis, and then you went into the hypnotherapy. So, but you also have on your site that you do remote sessions. So
Indeed.
is there a difference between the one-on-one and remote? Like, does somebody get more benefits out of one or the other? Like, is there any physical touching that helps with the hypnosis or anything like that?
There's number one, there's no differences. I work with clients all around the world: Australia, Canada, America, Europe, just through the UK, England, and Scotland, or whatever. So I work online a lot. So there's no differences in terms of performance and functionality. If someone's in the room, and again, appropriate touching, obviously, I might tap them on the hand or tap them on the forehead or something like that there to emphasize a point. Just feel yourself going more relaxed. But it's things that you don't need, but it's nice to do.
Right.
It's a bit like selling a phone contract. I can sell your phone contract over the phone, or I can say, let's have a cup of coffee. We'll go down to a local coffee shop and I'll tell you all the benefits of buying this phone. It's nice to be in person if you can be in person, but it's just as effective online.
Okay, and then can anyone be hypnotized, or do you have people that they'll come and be hypnotized and say, like, that didn't work, that's not going to work?
So it's an excellent question. Can everyone be hypnotized? So the answer to that is yes, everybody can be hypnotized. The real question is, can I hypnotize everyone? Right. So if you are looking someone with hair, for instance, or looking somewhere younger, or rather have a female to interact with, and you open the door thinking Turan Mizra was a female name, and you go, oh, didn't realize you were a man. Now you're uncomfortable, and now the hypnosis will not be as effective, if that makes sense. So everybody can be hypnotized, but you've got to want to be hypnotized, and you've got to want the situation to be right. I learned a lot of that from the street hypnosis. We were sort of chatting before the interview about that, and the idea of if I say, you're going to dance like 𝗵𝗯𝗶𝘁𝗄 when you wake up, 1, 2, 3, wide awake, and you think, I'm a rubbish dancer and I'll really make a fool of myself, then you won't dance like 𝗵𝗯𝗶𝘁𝗄. It's not that the hypnotic suggestion didn't work. It's not that I wasn't a good hypnotist. It's just the connection of that suggestion and the other person didn't connect, if that makes sense. So you've got to want it. And in the therapeutic setting, as I was saying, the only real time, nobody comes into me saying, I feel anxious, or I have IBS and I want to hold on to this IBS for the rest of my life, or I feel anxious and I want to hold on to this anxiety for the rest of my life. They want to get rid of that anxiety. But 1 in 100, maybe 1 in 200, now and then somebody will come in saying, right, I want to stop smoking, when really they want to keep smoking. They might want to stop smoking for the majority of the day, but they really love that cigarette just before they go to bed. And if that's the case, then hypnosis is not like the movies where I can make you do something against your will. If you don't want to stop smoking, you will not stop smoking. All right. Even if it's only just that one cigarette at the end of the day, you will keep smoking. So you've got to want it, that rapport, as it was, that connection between you and the therapist, and that mindset of, right, I want to change. I want to get rid of this anxiety. I want to get rid of this smoking habit. I want to stop biting these nails. If you don't want that, I can't make you do it. Does that answer the question? Does that make sense?
Yeah, so I think you have to want to change.
That's it.
And I think that's a big thing. You can't go in and just expect you're a miracle worker and it's automatically going to happen. You have to want to actually change.
And again, this never really happens in the therapeutic setting, but again, from my experience, when I learned from street hypnosis, and every now and then somebody would come up and go, right, mate, hypnotize me. And just that demeanor, that attitude, rightly, he said to his friend, bet you can't work on me.
Yeah.
And then he's walked up strutting, go on, come on, hypnotize me. And rightly, it's not going to work. Not because I haven't done it before, not because I haven't got I've got great success at doing this, but he's got to want it. And if I say close your eyes, and go, and he doesn't close his eye, and you don't need eye closure for hypnosis, by the way. I've hypnotized many people with their eyes open, but if I ask them to do something, they don't do it, and they're consciously resisting, then it won't work. So you've got to want it, and you've got to, listen to me and respond to me. And if you don't respond, then it's not going to work.
Yeah, true. And then, so there's a lot of hypnotists out there say they're hypnotists and all the rest. So have you got a different approach to hypnosis, or is it all standard? Do you all use the same
Number one,
method?
there's 101 ways to hypnotize people.
Right.
Like I've been, there's the biggest convention in the world is in Las Vegas called Hypnothoughts Live. There's over 1,000 hypnotists go to that, and there's hours and hours of presentations and talks. I've spoken now 5 times at the UK Hypnosis Convention in London. There's actually Irish Hypnosis Convention coming up in Dublin on the 5th and 6th, if anybody's interested in it. 5th and 6th of April. So there's continuous learning, continuous ways of doing this, continuous tools and techniques. So it's not just one way. What I feel makes me different is my street hypnosis. Now, you're not coming to be stuck to the chair or to make you forget your name, but the skills and the experiences I've gained from doing that entertainment stuff, which a lot of people have never done. A lot of people are just, I want to create change, and I went to hypnotist and he stopped me smoking. So I want to help other people like that there. And they go on just purely a therapeutic training. And they miss out, in my opinion, on a lot of skills and a lot of expertise that you gain from, doing the entertainment side of things. So to me, that's very important to me. And I teach, one of the things I do, I train, people like yourself, 𝗂𝗵𝘁, as it were, to how hypnosis works. But I do a lot of my training is to other hypnotherapists on how street hypnosis can give them additional confidence.
So you talk about street hypnosis and hypnotherapy. So what's the main difference? And there's also, I know, stage
Indeed.
hypnotists. So what's the difference in them all? Like you've
So stage
hypnosis
is
as well.
entertainment. Okay. Street hypnosis is entertainment. I wouldn't do
Right.
something for a therapeutic, stop smoking or getting rid of anxiety out of the street. And therapy is
help with
therapeutic.
issues.
Yeah, help with issues, anxieties, fears, stop smoking, weight loss, whatever. The key thing is about street hypnosis is it's impromptu. If you today buy a ticket for 10 days time, there's a stage show down your local club. For the next 10 days, you're saying, hey, Daphne, I'm going to the show. Do you want to get a ticket? It's going to be great. In fact, I think I'm going to go up on stage. I'm going to see if I can make a fool of myself and have a bit of fun. Or Daphne, I think I'm going to just sit, but you come along because you can go up on stage. You're talking about it with other people. You're thinking about it, oh, tomorrow night's the show. It's going to be fun. So you're getting a build up. You're already in a way hypnotizing yourself into a certain way of thinking about what's going to happen Friday night when you go to that stage show. Same with therapy. Nobody rings up and says, have you got a slot free in 20 minutes because I want to stop smoking. People ring up and I'll book them in for 2 weeks time or a week's time. And all that week they're going, oh, 5 days time, I'm going to stop smoking. 2 days time, I'm going to stop smoking. Tomorrow, I'm going to this guy and he's going to stop me smoking. That is all part of the hypnosis, even though I'm not involved in it, because their mindset is already in a stop smoking mindset. Right. So that's all preparation. Where street hypnosis is, I might say, right, this afternoon, 12 o'clock, I'm going to go down, stand outside City Hall and just see if anybody wants to be hypnotized. They weren't expecting it. I wasn't advertised. I mean, these days I'll probably put on Facebook, I'm going down and do some street hypnosis, but only my followers and fans will see that. And 99% of the people aren't following me yet. Follow me now on Facebook. Hypnotic suggestion there. But people aren't expecting it. So when I just stop them and say, hi, I'm just doing some entertainment today. And somebody might say, well, I'm just out to grab sandwiches from Marks and Spencer's to get back to work, to eat my lunch. Can't stop. Fair enough. Other people might be off half day, and they go, aye, I'll have a go. So they weren't expecting it 2 minutes beforehand. They weren't prepped it. They weren't even expecting to bump into the hypnotist. I wonder was that hypnotist there? I might get hypnotized if he's there. I don't do it that frequently. So, when they're out, the people I hypnotize out in the streets just weren't expecting it. And that gives you lessons. I was sort of talking about there earlier that therapists don't get. That gives you a fresh perspective on hypnosis that you wouldn't get with someone that's prepped for a stage show, that someone's prepped and getting psyched up to go next week and get rid of that anxiety. That's really on the edge, totally impromptu, just riffing, as we would say, or on the fly. So you really sharpen your skills as a hypnotist, because I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know what's going to happen. And that teaches you things you'll never learn from a hypnotherapy training.
And is it so, since people have had a chance to prepare for the stage and the hypnotherapist, is it then harder as such to hypnotize in the street because it's so impromptu?
There's two edges of that. It's harder to get it to work for even an experienced hypnotist, but the skills and experience of doing that regularly makes it easier to work. Does that make sense? It's harder, but it's easier. So and that skill, again, as I say, helps translate into doing a stage show or into doing therapeutic work, because I on the fly, I can respond in the moment, impromptu, to how that client's reacting or that person out on the street is reacting, and I've built up that skill, that memory muscle to be responsive and to be more on the ball in terms of what I'm doing. The other thing I just want to get across, because you say, what's the difference between stage? The hypnosis is the same, whether it's stage, whether it's street, whether it's therapy. Getting people into that state where they can accept suggestions is the same. And I think, again, that comes back to why it's important that therapists also try street, because they're building up that and flexing that muscle of understanding what hypnosis is. Hypnotherapy is hypnosis combined with a therapeutic end goal. Yeah.
Right.
So in street hypnosis, I just want to stick someone's feet to the floor and show them how powerful their mind is, because ultimately they know there's no glue. They know there's no cement. They know there's no tar sticking their feet to the floor. If I can get someone to feel like they're stuck to the floor, that shows me how good hypnosis is. Whereas, in a therapy room, I'm not going to stick people's feet to the floor, but I'm going to make them forget they ever smoked. I'm going to make them forget they had that anxiety. I'm going to make them feel like, they're a better person, that they're a good public speaker, that they don't bite nails, etc. So the suggestion part is different, but the hypnosis is the same. And that's why really, and you probably saw it on the website, I call myself a hypnotist more than a hypnotherapist. When you Google the word therapy, it says to overcome a disorder. And I'll tell you now, in all my years of people coming to see me, nobody's been broke. Nobody's been out of order. They don't have a disorder. They've only got a way of thinking, and all I need to do is change that way of thinking. So I prefer to call myself a hypnotist that changes people's minds than call myself a hypnotherapist. I obviously use the word hypnotherapist because people go, oh, I don't want to go to a hypnotist. I want to go to a therapist. I want to stop smoking. But they're not broke. They're not disordered. So the idea of overcoming a disorder, I think, is and there's that certain stigma these days. Oh, I'm going to see a therapist. Whereas I'm going to see a hypnotist and he's going to stop me smoking. Oh, cool.
That's actually a good take on it. I never thought of that. So you talked a lot whenever you're talking about stopping smoking. What is the main issues that people come to you with, to overcome and such?
I'll say the word anxiety. Now, if someone has a phobic reaction, a severe phobia, or even just a light fear of flying, it's still an anxiety. They're still anxious about getting on an airplane. If somebody has a fear of passing a driving test, they're anxious about sitting the driving test. So when I say anxiety, that covers quite a broad area. It covers all fears and phobias. It covers stresses and obviously anxieties. Yeah. Anxiety is about thinking about something that hasn't happened and may never happen. You know, if you have a fear of flying, you probably are anxious that the plane's going to have bad turbulence and the luggage is going to fall out of the hold above and hit me on the head, or worse, I'm going to crash or something like that there. You know, that may never happen. Anxiety is about thinking about the future in a negative way and in an unrealistic way. Obviously, if I'm stepping out on the pavement, I just don't walk blindly across the road. I look left and right. That, in a way, is anxiety, but it's healthy, manageable, realistic. It's sensible to look for danger, to look for traffic. But if you're looking left and right to see if an elephant's coming at you, that's irrational. Yeah. If you're thinking, is there an elephant? But if you're just looking to see if anything's coming past that could hit me, that's good anxiety, right? So we don't want to ever get rid of anxiety completely. But, so anxiety in general, when you group all the things that people come to you for, even things like IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, that for the majority of the time is just stress and anxiety. If you're anxious, I'm sure you've heard of the fight or flight response.
Yeah.
Well, the fight or flight response, basically what's happening when you go into fight or flight response mode is you're getting ready to hit them physically or run away. So what do you need? You need blood and oxygen in your arms and legs, in your legs to run, in your arms to fight. Now, how do you get more oxygen? Well, usually when you're in fight or flight response mode, when you feel like you're in danger, even if it's just fear of spiders, and you think, well, I mean, in the UK, we don't have tarantulas. They can't poison us. But people with a fear or an anxiety or phobia of spiders will, go into that fight or flight response mode. They'll breathe faster. That's getting oxygen into your muscles. That's why people are scared. I'm scared. They start to breathe faster, right? And that's also to get blood into your arms and legs. Well, it comes from your central body. It takes blood away from your reproductive system and your gut, right? I hate to be too crude on a public thing, but when you see horror movies and somebody's really scared, what do? They wet themselves because that area is shut down. I'd rather be alive and have a wet leg than be dead and chewed in half by a dinosaur. So we shut down again fertility issues. I work with people for fertility issues. And again, a lot of that is sometimes they get so stressed. We've been trying 2 months in a row, we haven't made a baby, we haven't got pregnant. Now they're stressed, maybe next month. That's back to anxiety. We can call it infertility issues, but it's really they're anxious about what's going to happen next month. Now they're not enjoying the process and going with the flow. They're now anxious and stressed. They go into the fight or flight response mode. And what happens? Their reproductive system shuts down. Nobody says there's a tiger, it's coming towards us. Let's make love and we'll think about what we'll do after we're finished. No, that thought goes out of your mind. Yeah, you focus on, do I run or do I hit it? Fight or flight, or do I lie dead? Fight, flight, or fawn is the other response where you just lie dead and pretend let the bear walk past you and hope it doesn't smell you are still alive. So anxiety, I'm trying to think, well, we probably went right off topic there, but yeah, anxiety, worry about the future, whether it's IBS, infertility, a lot of it's just anxiety. Get rid of the anxiety, you're back on the process. Now, obviously, when we're talking about IBS or anxieties or even migraines and things, I work with people who overcome migraines. I want to talk to the doctor. I want to make sure there isn't an underlying tumor. I want to make sure there isn't an issue with the fallopian tube, something physical that's stopping that fertility issue, or there's nothing wrong with the IBS. So I will, in certain circumstances, I will say I'd like your doctor's details and like permission to talk to your doctor just to make sure that I'm not doing anything. I mean, if someone came to me and said, I've got a terrible pain in my leg, can you get rid of that pain? I could, in effect, get them to ignore that pain. Now, if they've got a broken leg and they go out, jump up and down the trampoline, they're going to damage that leg even worse because there's a break and it could stick out their leg or whatever. So I need to be sensible about the pain management. I don't want to get rid of all pain. Sad thing, it was not a sad thing, but doctors use pain to gauge what's wrong with you. So if
Yeah.
I get rid of that pain in your leg and you walk in, there's I've got a bit of a pain in the leg, and how much does it hurt? Oh, it doesn't hurt at all right now because I went to Turan and he got rid of the pain completely. Then I say, well, there's nothing wrong with you. Go away. You know, they want to say, what if I touch here? Oh, it hurts there. Right. Now I know where the pain is. It's at breaking your tibia or your fibia or whatever it is. They use pain as a feedback mechanism to diagnose and help understand that. So again, I have to be sensible when I'm working with people for likes of migraines or whatever.
Okay, so that brings me to one of our other questions. So what do they expect? So if you get a call from somebody that they've been suffering migraines, then you will say, can you contact
Indeed.
their doctor?
So everybody I see, once we've established they like me and they're happy enough to work with me, I send them a little intake form and they fill that in. Some of that is just to understand the way they think about the issue they have. But there's also a medical section. I want to know, have they any injuries? Have they anything, that I might need to seek advice from the doctor. And if I do, there's a section on the saying like I may want to contact your doctor. Give me your doctor's details. And if they fill that in, I'll contact the doctor. I'll just like I'm going to work with Daphne. There's Daphne's again. She turns up a lot. You know, next week, she's got migraines, and he says, "Well, hold off because we're just about to send her for an MRI. Right, there may be a tumor in there." And then I'll hold off. But if he comes back saying, "Look, we've looked," and for most part, I've never been told by a doctor, "No, don't work with a client." Yeah. And most of them will say, "Look, I think it's fine. She keeps reporting this, or he keeps reporting that, but I think it's all in their head because we can't find anything physically wrong with them." At that
Right,
stage, then I can work. And I always sort of coin the joke, I can't fix a broken leg, which I can't. But if it's in the mindset, it's in the mind, especially chronic things like migraines. You're diagnosed chronic when the doctor said, well, there's all we can do is give you meds to manage it for the rest of your life. We can't fix it. We can't change it. Right. So any chronic pains, any chronic situations, then, I can do what I can to reduce, if not completely turn off the pains or the issues, because that's all the meds doing. They're managing it. So we don't get rid of migraines, but we can minimize the effects of it.
so then for issues like that then do they have to come back for repeat sessions, or is it just one session fits all, or how does that work?
It's not one session fits all, but I work on a session by session basis. And again, different therapists will work on a different plan, but I don't say, right, I'm going to book you in for 4 sessions. You
Right.
come in, you work with me, and then I ask for feedback after 5 days. If 5 days later you say, you know what, I haven't had that anxiety. I've been in situations where, I would have been anxious before, and I've actually been laughing and, managing it, completely. I say, we're done. If they
Right.
come back saying, it's about 10% of what it used to be, it's great. But there was that wee moment when I went in to see the boss and asked for a pay rise. I got a bit nervous. Then I say, right, come back and we'll work on that little bit of it. And a lot of the times when I'm talking about 10% of what it was, a lot of times the way I'll describe it is like an onion layer. So you might come into me and say, I have anxiety, and I'll get rid of this completely. Now you might feel a little bit anxious because there's another little niggle that was underneath that never really surfaced up before, because
Mm-hmm.
this was so major, this focused in your life. But now you've got rid of that. So it's not that this has been reduced 10%. We've got rid of that completely. But, we just didn't get to the core of the onion.
Right. So it's an it's needed basis, sort of,
That's it. Indeed.
everybody's in different. So then you've also seen that you work with children. So what type of issues would you see children coming in with? You've mentioned, I'm assuming it's going to be anxiety because,
Indeed. Transfer test anxiety, uh,
right,
11 plus, 11 plus, GCSE A-level anxieties. I work with nail biting, hair pulling, self-hair pulling. Just general anxieties. The youngest client I worked with was just 4 years old.
oh, wow.
And he was feeling anxious. Following a break in the leg, which was fully healed completely. He was anxious about going to the toilet because he couldn't do that easily when he had the cast on. So even though the cast was off and the break was healed and everything was fine, he still had a little bit of a hang up, and I helped work with him on that. But generally speaking, I mean, as much as I boast about working for the youngest four, the majority are 8, 9, into the teens, that sort of thing. A lot of kids are so anxious they're not going to school, and the parents are having to disrupt their work life to homeschool or whatever. So what I always find amazing, and there was a lovely video from a lady called Chloe. I worked with her 9-year-old child, and she put this beautiful video up on her social media channel saying, "Can't believe the transformation that's changed our family's lives." And as much as she said that publicly, nearly every child I work with, it helps. If your child is bedwetting, for instance, you're not getting the sleep you need, you're not performing in work your best, so your business gets impacted by your child's issues. If your child is struggling with exams and getting stressed out of exams, that's on your mind, and you're not focusing on your work. So even when I'm working with children, it's affecting businesses of the parents.
And is the techniques you use in children the same as adults, or
It
do
is.
you find them easier to work with?
Well, a large part of hypnosis is about engaging the imagination. Kids have a rich imagination.
Yeah.
So from that point of view, there's an element of ease, but at the same time, the child is not the child is the client, but they haven't decided to come to me. So there's that little bit of a swing and roundabout. I spoke earlier about, nobody comes to me and wants to hold on to the anxiety, but that odd stop smoker will say, "Oh, I really want to keep smoking. Even though I come to him, I still like that smoke just before I go to bed, so I don't want to stop smoking." Smoking is the only time where I find someone that really wants to hold on to something, even though they've come to me to stop it. Equally, a child, the mum really wants him to do well in school, but he went, "Oh, I don't really want to come see this hypnotist fella and hypnotize me." So there might be a level of resistance from the child.
Yeah.
I don't see that a lot, but sometimes that can happen.
And you also work with corporate and businesses. So what does that look like? Like, why would a business call you and bring you in? Like,
well, I've already said how performance can be impacted through children. So every aspect of your life, if you have a fear of public speaking, a lot of the work I will do with business people would be someone's maybe being at the ground floor working level, and then they've got promoted to supervisor, and now they have to command a team of maybe even 8, 10, 12 people. Now, you wouldn't probably call that fear of public speaking because you're not talking to the public, you're talking to people you used to work with. But now they're anxious about that new management level role. I've done that right through to people that were senior managers now promoted to CEO or director's level. All of a sudden, God, the pressure's on me. Now, we create that pressure in our minds. I'm sure we know, plenty of CEOs, business people just go in, do a day's work, go home, chill, and have a good time. There's other ones that are stressing out 24/7 and not sleeping because of business issues and all the rest of it. What's the difference between those two people? It's the way they're thinking. Because, yes, people are saying, "Oh, well, I want paid at the end of the month." But if you're doing a good job, if you're managing the business well, the money will come in. But that can hold you back. The stresses of, "Oh, I've got staff underneath me now that are relying on me to manage them." And if you're in that anxious state, you're not focusing on the business. If you're not focusing on the business doesn't do well. Now you don't have the money at the end of the month to pay them, and it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, only because of your mindset. Because you're not focused on the business, you're focused on the people, and their pay, and this is a great responsibility now. That's a mindset. It's not exclusive, but I get quite a lot of I've had all the professions, probably nurses. If they've been out in long-term sick and they're going back into the workplace and they're quite anxious about going back after maybe 6 month or 12-month leave, and they're saying, "Oh, yeah, it's a very stressful place." And the first thing I'll say is, "Well, is there anybody in your business that walks in, does a good job, goes home, and they say, there's Daphne. She's always cool and relaxed." And I said, "Well, it's the same business, it's the same job. The difference is the job is not putting the pressure on you. It's a hard concept, mainly, but my job's different. It is pressures. It is under pressure, but we put pressure on ourselves in anything that we do. Yeah, it's our own beliefs, our own qualities and standards. I should have every T and every T crossed and every I dotted and all the rest of it. And we put pressure on ourselves to be that perfectionist. But that's coming from within us. Yeah. I know there's some pain in the ass bosses that will put pressures on you, but then you can say no. That's too much. I can only handle 3 cases today,
Yeah.
or I can only work from 9 to 5. You're asking me to work 12-hour shift. I can't do it. The pressure's coming from you thinking he's going to sack me if I don't agree to, work 12-hour shifts 10 days in a row, even though whatever legislation says, I need proper breaks and all the rest of it. That comes from bad management and you not, being assertive. That's coming from within you. So it's not that the job's a pressure job. It's you're not managing yourself and your pressures. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so it's still very much a one-on-one basis. So you say a business owner would contact you to move forward, or if their company suddenly expanded, then they would bring you in to ease that pressure as
Indeed.
such. So it's
Indeed.
very much a one-on-one. You would work with
I mean,
businesses.
I'll go in, I'll do maybe a lunch and learn type situation, go in over lunch. The staff can sit and eat sandwiches, and I'll give a little presentation of what hypnosis is, how it can be effective. I'll
Right.
do, again, the difference between me and the typical hypnotherapist is I will do in that public setting, right, let's get somebody up the front, I'll show you how hypnosis works. And I can
Right.
do that confidently because I've done the street hypnosis. Whereas most people say, "Oh, I'm not going to do a demo in case something doesn't go right."
Uh-huh.
It might not go right because it's impromptu. And again, the staff probably haven't even been told. I've arranged with HR. I'll come in, do a 1 hour talk, and do maybe a 10-minute presentation at the end on a practical thing on a bit of hypnosis, subject to getting a volunteer. Um, but most people won't do that again because they're not,
Yeah.
they don't have that performance side of it, and that's part of, dare say, marketing in my
Uh-huh.
business. That's the like the Facebook posts and the LinkedIn posts,
Mhm.
doing a live demo, whether it's at a networking meeting or lunch and learn at a corporate event. That's again what helps me stand out.
So I think it's for the business side, I think it's important that you marrying up with the HR team. Look, if you are feeling this anxiety or whatever, you have this available resource.
That's it.
It's providing more resources for the people in
Indeed.
the business workplace. Um, so you also have hypnosis training.
Indeed. Indeed. If you want to learn, I can teach you. So
No, I don't think you'd want me as a hypnosis.
I mean, yes. I mean, a lot of people go, "Oh, you can learn this stuff." They sort of assume I have to be a seventh son of a seventh son of a
Hmm.
magician born under the wings of a dragon. All the stars were aligned. That's how hypnotists become hypnotists.
Uh-huh.
This is a learned skill like anything else. But and believe it or not, Lorraine, you could be a ballerina, you could be
Yeah.
an astronaut if you want to. You just don't want to be a ballerina, or maybe you are a ballerina. You have that. No. But you know, it's having that want to learn. You
Yeah.
know, I could drag you, like again, like the stop smoker that doesn't really have stop smoking. Somebody could drag them to the hypnotist. It's not going to work. I could drag you into the NASA training center. You're never going to be a good astronaut because you don't want to learn it. And hypnosis is the same. If you want to learn it, if you're keen in it, you're interested in it, then you will learn it. But if you're just going, somebody sent you along, that's
Uh-huh.
I chat to people and make sure, are you interested in this? You want to do this stuff? And if you want to learn this, you can learn it.
So is your training one-on-one, or do they download something and train
No,
along with it, or?
it'll be in the room again. I do online training,
Uh-huh.
interactive online training, or in groups, face to face. And again, groups and face to face is nice because you can stand up, you can get two people. It's harder to do on Zoom for that. Majority of, again, the training I do online would be for hypnotherapists that know something about hypnosis, but want
Right.
to move, want to understand more about the skills of doing live demos for, in a sort of street hypnosis type situation.
And all this here is on your site, all the
It's
various.
all on my website.
Brilliant.
Again, it's up there in the thing. Hopefully it comes up on screen,
It is.
𝗂-good.today. Check it out. And I've also got all my social medias, Facebook, LinkedIn. I need to change that to X, but it's Twitter. You know what I mean? I think everybody
Oh
knows
yeah,
what it means
I never
still.
even noticed.
YouTube and Instagram. Do check me out. Subscribe.
And
Like.
speaking of YouTube, so you've a huge amount of videos on YouTube.
Indeed.
So is there one case that stands out the most above all? I say,
Uh,
oh, that was a huge success. Sort of.
I mean, if a child passes the transfer test, that's a huge success. If somebody stops smoking, that's a huge success. From a sensational point of view, obviously, maybe I'm guessing you're alluding to maybe 𝗂𝗵𝗁, the lady that in 1995 jumped out of an airplane at 6,500 feet, and when the parachute didn't, deploy properly, she hit the ground at over 100 miles an hour. That's quite sensational. For 25 years, she couldn't talk about it. She couldn't write about it. She couldn't go back to the site where she fell. She came to me again. I don't guarantee one session, but I've explained how I do work session by session. She came to me on the Wednesday, and on the Friday, she went back down to the site where she fell for the first time with her 17-year-old daughter. And her daughter heard stories she'd never heard before about her mother's journey.
Wow.
So that's
Yeah.
that sounds pretty sensational because it's jumping out of airplanes and parachutes and stuff. But I don't want to take away from that 11-year-old that just had studied all year. Again, I'll always, I mean, I work in terms of studying. I work with transfer test A levels right up to accountants and other professions. Accountancy exams. People are getting anxious. I can't make you learn this stuff. I can give you more focus to learn it. And there's a lovely Google testimonial of a recent accountant that did that. If you don't know the stuff to begin with, if you're not a keen studier, I can help you in that route, but I can't give you the information. If you've studied nothing all year and 2 days before the transfer test or even your accountancy exam, you come to me and say, hypnotize me to pass this exam. If you don't have the information inside, mostly people come saying, I've studied hard all year. I know the information. You ask me right now, I can give you all the, I can write a 20-page essay on this or 20-page essay on that there, but put me in an exam room and I fall apart. That is a
mental block.
That's a mental block. That's a mindset issue, and I can help you overcome those mental blocks. But I can't if you haven't studied all year. Nothing's going to change.
That would be brilliant, wouldn't it? If you could
Keep
do
that in context. If anybody's contacting me to pass exams, yeah.
And also, just looking at your profile, you have ABC Business Network.
Indeed.
So, what is this?
So that stands for, it's not as easy as ABC, but rather it stands for the 𝗂𝗵𝗁 Business Network. And we meet once a month. That we get local businesses together. We usually have a speaker to do a talk for 10 minutes just to educate people. And then we just network and find out about each other. Can we help each other? Can we share a burden together? It's just about networking and growing each other's business and helping and supporting each other.
Yeah, I think it's so vital that we all help each other.
Indeed. It's helped me a lot in my business networking. Again, someone early on told me, you want to grow your business, get into a couple of business networks, and I did that, not knowing what I was getting myself into, and gained friends, gained contacts, built a network of people that knew what I did and could help and refer me and support me, and I was able to support them. Web designers, if somebody knows, 𝗂𝗵𝗁, great web designer. Somebody wants health insurance. 𝗂𝗵𝗁, ABC Business Network, great guy for health insurance. WPA Health Insurance. You know, I can give them pitches because I know these people as friends. I know they're good people, and I know they can help people. I know if other people have used their services, and that's what
Yeah.
networking is all about. So if you are a business, then do get into networking, and ABC is always open.
Good to know. Anything else you want to add, Turan?
I think you have grilled me to death now. I think we've covered everything that I could think of to cover. It's just been a pleasure, and I hope people listen to this and get educated.
Thank you, Turan, for sharing your incredible insights into hypnosis and how it can truly transform lives. It's amazing to learn how versatile and impactful this practice can be, whether it's helping individuals overcome challenges or supporting businesses in creating a more productive and positive work environment. If you'd like to connect with Turan or learn more about Feel Good Today, be sure to visit their profile on Localware 2. This includes links to their Feel Good Today website, social handles, and direct contact form, making it easy for you to connect and explore how Feel Good Today can support you. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more valuable insights and interviews with local experts. And remember, Localware 2 is your trusted platform for discovering local businesses, jobs, discounts, and more. Thank you for watching, and we'll be sure to see you next time on Localware 2.